This video will describe how to be efficient when using the macOS system as compared to a Windows system. And in this video, I'm on my Mac, and I'm going to use slightly different programs than I did in the Windows explanation. However, the end result will be the same. We're looking to create an efficient, easy to use, productive and enjoyable interface for creating embedded C code on the Arduino Uno. And so in this case, I've got my Windows system. The first thing I do is I just hit Command Spacebar, and that brings up a spotlight search. This allows me to very easily just type in the first couple letters of my code editor, in this case, Sublime Text, and then I hit return. And now I'm in Sublime Text. Now, we don't want to start with an empty window. What we want to start with is a folder. So I'm going to go to File, Open, go to my Documents folder. I'm going to scroll down and find my Labs 10C class, and I'm going to open that. And then I'm going to slide that over so it roughly covers the left half of my screen. And so that's about right. And I've got my dev folder here. And then my 1B, and then let's say I'm going to work on the 2 serial experiment. So I've got my code editor set up properly. I hit Command Space again, but this time I type in terminal, and it brings up a terminal window. In this one, I want to be the upper right half of the screen, so I just make it that size, and now I'm ready to go there. Now here's a trick that you can do on the Mac that's pretty interesting. If you type in CD and then space, and then you go over here and you know you're going to be editing this main.c, this little icon up here, it'll darken a little bit. It's to the left of the file name. This little icon actually can be dragged. You click on it and then you can just drag it over here. Now there's a little bit of a problem when you do this because that's the name of the file and you can't change directories to the name of a file, but you can just backspace over this and now I'm there. I didn't have to do the DOC tab, labs tab, dev tab, 1B tab, 2 tab, which is another efficient way of doing it, but in this case it's just a different way. You go and you click, and then when it darkens you're able to grab it. Now what's interesting, if you haven't saved the file, you won't be able to do that. So you need to make sure you have the file saved. Okay, so we have the code editor looking at the code that we have right here. We're in the same folder as that code in the terminal. And since I know I've got a serial program here, I want to bring up CoolTerm. Once again, Command Space, type in Cool, and we've got CoolTerm. And so we click and I dragged the wrong thing. There it is, CoolTerm, and I just click and drag it over here in the remaining open space. And now I've got it set up this way. Okay, so now what I want to do is make sure that I have my Uno plugged in, which is what I just did. And one thing you want to do in the Uno, it doesn't seem like you have to do this as much in Windows as you do in the Mac, but in the Mac, you have to go, when you're in CoolTerm, make sure you go to Options and then click on it and then look for what looks like is going to be your modem. And it's USB modem 3101 is the one that I have the Uno plugged into, because the other one, I didn't plug it into my Jabra headset. I didn't plug it into Bluetooth. And those were the only two, and I didn't plug it into a wireless LAN. So those are the only ones. Now, so if I know that serial port is that one, then I also have to go to my env make file. And notice how easy it is just to click on it. Instead of 4101, I make that a 3. I hit Command S to save it. And now I go back to my file again. Okay, so looks like we're ready to go. Let me go ahead and connect serial monitor. Let me go back up to here and say MakeFlash and it's compiling everything. And oh, that's right. You cannot use the serial monitor and upload to the Uno at the same time. So I have to disconnect, then go back here, hit the up arrow for MakeFlash, hit return again. Now it's programming it. Now I come back, I press connect, and it's doing the program that we've got there. Now, that's kind of a messy screen on CoolTerm. So what I'll do is click on CoolTerm, I'll click on Clear Data, and then to the left of the USB port on the Uno is a button. You press that button and it will reset it, and now I've got a nice clean screen of what is running on the Uno now. I don't have the old stuff. I've got the new stuff, which is enter a number, 1, 2, 3. It's all working great. Lovely. Now there's a fourth screen that I use periodically, and that's Safari. And so let's just say I'm going to use Safari from the dock. And then I'm going to go to wellies.com, which is the website for this class, developing in C. And then I'm going to scroll down to the serial input output. And let me make the window a little bit bigger. And then I'm going to scroll a little bit more. And I want to grab all of this text here, because this is the example that's in the serial I/O page. And so if I hit Command C, it'll copy that text. And now I'll just get that window out of the way. I'll come over to my main.c program in my code editor and hit Command A, which selects everything in the file. And then Command V, which pastes that example code. And now I've got a completely new program in here. And if I do Command S, I save it. So the four were, I did a Command C to copy, a Command V to paste, a Command A to select everything in a file, and then a Command S, as in save, to save it. So now it's saved as a brand new program. I come back to here. This time I remember I've got to disconnect CoolTerm, and then I say MakeFlash, and it gives me an error. And okay, well then in this case, I didn't realize it. I need to include stdint.h, and I'll have to go fix that in the program. So I come back to here, hit MakeFlash, and let's see what happens. Still have the same error. So I will have to, actually, this is interesting. So what has happened, and I thought it was a typing error, and it was a typing error. And so stdint is the way that the C compiler looks for different types of integer types. And that's what this error right here was. It's looking for this int8, and I thought I needed to include that header file. This has happened to me before. If you have a file that has an incorrect comment, which is what happened here, somehow I deleted the first slash, so it didn't have the right comment. It thought it was a command, and so you can see right here, I didn't look for the first error. I looked for the latter two errors. So this happens a fair amount of times. So if you don't have the right comment, it's going to read that comment as code, and it'll give you a nonsensical error message, which is what I fell for. So now I commented the code correctly. I Command S to save it. I come back to MakeFlash. It all compiles correctly. And I come back to CoolTerm. I press connect. And now it's a new program. It's enter a character. I enter A, and it says you entered the character A, 9761. Let's go to our browser one more time. And the browser says, if you run this code, you should see serial IO test, enter a character, like I have right there. A, you entered the character A 9761. So it's working the same way that this demo example was on my web page. So that's great to see. And I was able to show you how to solve an error, which is make sure when you're looking at your errors, you look at the very first error, which is this one right here. Don't look at the ones that are farther down. These confused me, and I thought I had to do something else. But it was this expected identifier, and that's because this was supposed to be just simply a comment. It's not expected to be a command. And so once I made it a comment again, everything worked.